Rise and Grind, folks. Who the fuck is Drew Driscoll? Shall we begin? Let's delve into it, huh? Guys, this is my intro video. I get the question a lot. Yo, Drew, what made you get into HVAC? What made you get into the business? Guys, if I'm being honest, most of this shit is a blur. Days can turn into years. Years can turn into days. That's just the nature of the beast. But guys, I'm going to take it back from the beginning. 2010, I was just your typical inner city kid, getting out of high school, 18, 19, didn't know what I wanted to do. And guys, I wrote down like 5 or 6 professions. Most of it was bullshit, by the way. HVAC was like the last thing on the list. I'm not even sure where I got the profession from. Like, I didn't have any friends or family that did HVAC, but I think I seen it on TV or a commercial or something. But every profession I picked, I wrote it down on a list, and I did as much research as I can on each and every profession. And the whole top 4 or 5, guys, like, the more I got into it, I'm like, I want a career. I don't want really like a job. I don't want a high-paying gig that I could potentially be laid off from or anything like that. And I looked up HVAC, guys, and like, this is back when I was living at my mom's house, and I'm like, I gotta find a career. I don't want to like work part-time jobs. Like, that shit is for the birds, you know? What I did is I Googled HVAC schools, and like, I found one, and like, my goal was to just try to get as much information as I can. And I forgot the career services lady at that time. She was like, yeah, my friend's husband has his own HVAC business. Yeah, we offer it here, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking the whole time that shit is a selling point. So I'm like, all right, I mean, that's her job to try to sell you on why you got to come here. But guys, at that point, something was better than nothing, but I didn't want to get tricked into like doing something just for the idea of having money. You understand what I'm saying? So like, guys, you know, it took like a couple months of me going back and forth, and I'm like, okay, HVAC is a possible, you know, profession, but let me balance that with something else. And like, I couldn't find that second profession. Like, medical or dental is just like, nah, if I do that, I'll probably have to still go back to school to advance. And I'm like, I need something that, you know, something hands-on, but also I wasn't like a full-year college type of guy. So fast forward, guys, I'm gonna try to make this, because this could be a 4-part mini-series here. I'm trying to sum all this up. But guys, like, basically, if I would have had another profession that was better at that time than HVAC, I probably would have did that. But guys, I had really no expectations with HVAC. You know, I signed up. My mom signed me up for that trade school, and I was like 19. And like, at that time, I was like, look, man, I know I got to pay back like $17,000 in student loans. I was really nervous, because I thought, like, if I were to fuck around at that trade school and not learn anything, I don't know, working part-time jobs, you know, I didn't see that much money at that time in my life. I'm like, $16,000, that's a lot of money to pay back. So at that point, guys, that's where my mentality had to change. And like, you know, I speak with my mom about it. I'm like, look, if I got to go to this trade school and I got to pay this money back, for damn sure I'm going to learn something, and I have to take something from this situation that can hopefully land me a job. So guys, at that time, that trade school was about, like, for HVAC, I went to Fortis in Lawrenceville. The whole program was about 18 months at the time. And guys, it took me like, I want to say 4 or 5 months of learning just basic AC stuff. And like, guys, I treated that just like regular school. You know, anything we learned at the lab or in the school, in the classroom, guys, I took it home, and like, I really 10x'd it. I found a way to kind of like add more to like what they was teaching me, guys. Like, and it may sound crazy, but this is like, this is what worked for me. If we was learning about gas valves in trade school, I knew at that time, guys, we really didn't have a lab. You know, that school was still being built when I went there in 2011. So like, a lot of equipment that they have now, they didn't have at the time. And a lot of guys got discouraged, but I'm like, you know what? Once again, I got to pay fucking $20,000 back. I gotta make sure that I can take something from the situation. I can't quit. What I'm gonna go back to, working part-time jobs. So guys, look, I'm like, you know what, man? If we learn about gas valves today, I'm gonna go to a supply house, and I'm gonna like literally try my best to just stay in the moment of learning. You know, I don't want to learn about HVAC 7 to 3, and then you go home at 3 o'clock, and now you're discouraged and doing some other shit. Nah, I'm like, if I want to succeed, I got to put myself in the best position possible. So guys, literally, that's how it was for like the first 6 months. What we learned about motors, what we learned about evac coils. okay, I get what you're teaching me, but I need to see it. Let me go to a supply house. Hey, my name's such and such. I'm in school for this. Can you guys show me XYZ? I'm just curious. I want to learn it. Guys, I was the question guy. I used to ask a shitload full of questions because I just didn't know. Once again, I didn't even know what a fucking screwdriver was before I went to a trade school. So like, guys, I came from very humble beginnings, but guys, like I had no shame in me wanting to learn things. If I want to know something, I'm gonna ask. That's just me, you know. And I was always like that, you know. And I'm very grateful that I actually got into a profession where I was able to use those abilities, you know, ask a bunch of questions. And like, look, fast forward, guys, 6 months into school, I already knew theory, I already knew the AC cycle, I already knew this shit, but I didn't know how to fix it. So like, getting out of school, after the 18 months, I got my first gig. I think I was a maintenance tech. And guys, starting off, this is where a lot of guys, and from my standpoint as an employer, guys, a lot of guys out of trade school, you get discouraged because maybe you can't find a job, or maybe you're getting the short end of the stick. I always tell guys like this: your first job or two out of trade school is going to really be the toughest in the grand scheme of things, guys, because you don't have any leverage out of trade school. You know, you're going against guys that probably already have experience. So, of course, you got to understand. You got to bite your tongue and look. Understand that you're there to help them. They're not there really to help you. So, if you show up, maybe they, you know, similar to me, I was there cleaning flame sensors. I was really upset because, like, guys, I'm geared towards fixing shit. That's my satisfaction. All I wanted to do, guys, out of school is I wanted to apply what I learned in my head as far as how to fix shit. And guys, that first job, I didn't even have a car. I had to use my mom's car to drop her off to work. My first job was like an hour and a half away from where I lived. And guys, the fucking hustle was real, man. I had to make a bunch of shit work. And if I try to explain it, it sounds crazy, but guys, that's how much I wanted the opportunity to like really apply all that shit I learned. And remember, guys, I'm doing all this shit and I still got to pay back $20,000. Go down there, I say 16, but if you add up the fees, I was down there close to $20,000. Let's use 20 as an example. But guys, doing all that shit, I knew I had to start paying these loans back. I'm like, just, you know, praying every day, like, damn, like, let me. And I'm staying inside the books, guys. Like, everything I learned from school after I graduated, I kept all my notes. I kept my mind fresh. I knew even if I didn't have a job, I'm still keeping my mind in the books. You know, this is before Indeed. I'm using Yellow Pages. I'm calling like 100 companies, dude. the desire was there, but unfortunately, guys, you know, getting your first job, like I said, it took me about 6 months to really find that hour and a half job. And like I knew a lot of guys probably never would have did that because that's a tough stretch right there. Driving an hour and a half, and it's just, you know, and like I said, my situation wasn't perfect. You know, I didn't have, like I said, transportation. I had to make it work, you know, and it's just, guys, I took that mentality of, you know what, I'm going to learn as much as I can. Remember that mentality from trade school? I took that shit into the job, and I'm like, look, dude, maybe they're not going to answer all my questions, but look, I'm going to make the most out of what I'm seeing. And what that means, guys, if I'm cleaning flame sensors or if I'm fucking replacing filters, and whenever something breaks, they tell me to get out and call a demand tech, look, I'm not gonna give them shit about it, because guess what? At least I have an opportunity to see what the hell I went to school for, guys. That meant a lot to me, because a lot of guys that I went to trade school with, they got discouraged. Oh man, we can't go to the lab, blah. Gosh, look, it's all perspective and it's all about mentality, guys. The point is, I wasn't expecting a perfect situation out of school, like as far as my first job, and my mentality was like, look, guys, if I have a shitty boss, if I have a shitty company, or whatever the case is, guys, out of my control, my mindset is like, look, I'm going to take something positive from this, and I'm going to take it with me wherever I go. And that's not something that you can buy. That's not something you can give away. Your knowledge is going to be there with you, guys. You can take that shit with you wherever you go. But, guys, that mentality I had, as far as no matter how fucked up the situation is, I'm going to try my best to get better and learn. I already had that initiative, guys. That's just who I am as a person. I just now had something to apply it to. So, guys, fast forward, man. Me being the filter cleaner, the filter replacement, the flame sensor cleaner, I was doing my thing, and like eventually, guys, from doing all those maintenances, I learned how to do service. And like I already knew theory-wise how the shit works. I wasn't able to see it, you know. Supply house guys helped me out a lot, seeing things, but guys, I really had to hustle, man. It was just me trying to explain this shit. It was even more things, but guys, me trying to explain this shit, it may sound crazy, but that's what it took for me to even get my first job, guys. I'm doing all this shit not even 21. I'm just like rocking and rolling, guys. And it's just, I knew that if someone were to give me opportunity, I could meet them halfway by me taking the initiative to learn shit, guys. I wasn't the type of guy that would wait and wait until somebody called on me to answer shit. No, if I feel like I can answer, or I'm gonna answer the question. You understand what I'm saying? So like, I was always that initiator, man, and that's why I take pride in, man. Just I'm not the hesitant type. Like I said, if I don't know something, I'm gonna ask. But once again, whatever I learn, I was a note taker. I had I don't have it with me, guys, but I had a shitload full of notes that I took from school into work, and then from every single maintenance I had. Oh, carrier units, Linux units. Oh, I learned, I did this, did that, and like, gosh, that shit transformed into like a bunch of things that helped me a lot with service. So like, out the jump, guys, I knew maintenances and I knew service, and then with that company, I went somewhere else to learn installs. And like, guys, regardless, I had to take a pay cut when I went from service to install, because I was new. I didn't see an install at that time at the service company I was with. But guys, I took a pay cut. But like I said, one thing that always stuck with me was that I'm like, you know what, guys, wherever I go, I'm gonna bring a positive mindset, but I'm gonna take the initiative to learn, and like I said, and hopefully be better than what I was yesterday. I didn't wait for my boss. I didn't wait for a coworker to tell me that. But guys, back to what I was telling you guys, like, especially for you guys out of trade school, or especially for you guys that want to go into trade school for HVAC. HVAC is a great career, but guys, you have to give it. You're going to get what you give, guys. That's the point. That's to sum up all that shit, guys. If I would have took the opposite approach, if I would have just waited for opportunities to come up, guys, I don't know where the fuck I would be at. That's just me being honest, man. It's just opportunity. How I view opportunities, guys, it may be different than from what someone else can tell you. But guys, look, man, I'm a go-getter. Like I said, I like when there's nothing to gain, nothing to lose, everything to gain. You put me in the game, and like, so I can make shit happen, man. That's just me. I love it, man. And the point is, I was always like that, and it's just all those professions that I told you. If I would have picked the wrong profession, like, I probably would have been one of those people that just go to work every day hating what they do. I fucking love what I do, like, and that was in 2000. Got out of trade school 2012. I started in 2013, September 2013. So it's 2024 now. So, guys, I'm like almost 11 years in, and like I said, so like, I started out of trade school, and it was 2011 to 2012, and I got my first job in 2013. So, guys, I'm already past 10 years, going on 11, and it's just, guys, this shit really doesn't feel like work to me. And I'm not saying that because I started a business, but like, that mentality never left. As far as me wanting to take the initiative, I wanted to grab the bull by his horns. I don't wait until I get hit for me to respond. Like, no, I'm taking the initiative, and like I said, if I get scratched up a hit, then so be it. But like I said, I got a mental notepad in my head. I'm only adding to it. I'm not subtracting from it. That's just me, But guys, that's that whole mentality. That is what I took into service, and I took it to the install. I took it to maintenance, the whole 9 yards. And then, guys, before you know it, it's funny, my old trade school that I tell you I graduated from, I actually went back there to teach for a couple months, and like, I didn't really think much of it, but like I said, guys, at one point when I was still working, I had 3 jobs at once, and like, that shit is crazy. I mean, at that point, I didn't really care about the money, but I just love being around it, and like, I consume so much information in so many ways I can apply it. Like I said, now, even work for other people. I had people calling me, yo, Drew, you do this? Can you look at my AC? Can you look at my heat? And like, before you knew it, guys, within 2 years, I already had, you can call it side jobs. I already had people calling me like, yo, Drew, like, hey, you still teach at your old trade school? Yeah, I still teach part-time. Yeah, tell you what, why not just start your own company? You're already doing. And like, guys, that's when I started thinking about it. And mind you, guys, I was okay with working the 3 jobs. Like, I had a 9 to 5 HVAC job. I taught 5 to 11, and then I did side jobs in between it. So like, guys, this shit, once again, this shit sounds crazy, but like, once again, I'm a hustler. So like, those 3 jobs, it was cool, but then I knew that would be a means to an end. So like, out of those 3 jobs, like I said, I gained a decent amount of clientele, And I started hearing the whispers like, Drew, you should just start your own company. Yeah, you're already back teaching at your old trade school, blah, 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 blah. And like most other guys, I just ignored initially. I'm like, nah, I gotta think about it. I don't know anybody that started their own business. And guys, the money was okay. The money was good. So I'm like, I can't leave that unless I know I can guarantee walk into something better. And like that, you know, I was in my head, guys, and this is where I transitioned from HVAC to the business, guys. When I started thinking about it, it scared the shit out of me because I'm like, guys, if I start the business now, I gotta eat what I kill. I don't have a guaranteed paycheck. So it's like, it was kind of nerve wracking. And like, you know, I initially dismissed it, but the more I heard it, yo, Drew, like, damn, man, you good at what you do, yada, yada, yada. I think about it. And guys, one day I just literally, at one of my 9 to 5s, I don't know if it was either the teaching or the HVAC job, I just started writing everything down. What are my expenses? I did my own personal balance sheet, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I got some money saved up, about $2,000 or $3,000, not even that much, guys. $2,000 or $3,000 saved up. I'm like, all right, man. And I feel like a lot of business owners do this shit. They might tiptoe into the business. They might say, you know what? All right, I got some money saved up. Let me just try this. Guys, here's what the fuck I did that worked, right? And guys, I grew up in the trades. I curse like a seller. I know YouTube might ban me, but I don't give a damn. But look, guys, how I started off, that $2,000 or $3,000, I took $1,000 of that. I went to Craigslist, bought a fucking, and I remember this. And I'm in a GMC, right? This is what made me love GMC Savannahs. My first work van, it was a GMC Safari. It's like one of those small vans. Guys, I drove that motherfucker into the ground. Like, and mind you, at that time, I moved to Pennsylvania. I was living in Jersey. I moved to Pennsylvania, where I'm at now. And like, guys, I drove that motherfucker all around, guys. It was just like my mentality, guys, and what kept me motivated to start my business after I got that van, guys. I had a few good weeks, you know, a few replacements, a few maintenance agreements. And guys, once I seen the potential, I just got motivated, man. That shit just kind of like, it put something in me. As far as with the E-Myth, it's called an entrepreneurial seizure. Guys, I'm like, look, if I can make this, I know it could fluctuate, but I'm like, if I can make this constantly and I'm doing what I love to do, why the fuck do I got to work 3 jobs? And like, once again, the risk versus the reward, I knew the reward would be less upfront, being that, like I said, I may have to jump into a credit card here and there, but guys, I didn't even allow, here's the thing, I didn't even allow myself to get to using a credit card, right? What I did, guys, is I said, you know what? My worst case scenario is, look, let's look at my good, better, and best. My worst case scenario, guys, is, look, this shit doesn't work out. I can always go back to working a job, guys, but I never allowed myself to get to that point because, I never allowed myself to get to that point of just being too complacent, guys. So, like, look, I told myself, look, if the shit doesn't work out, I can always go back to working, but like working 3 or 4 jobs. But guys, I already tried that shit before, even not in HVAC, and like everybody has the same enemy, 24 hours. There's only 24 hours in a day, so you can't outwork 24 hours. You know, you got to work smarter at some point instead of just using hard work to pay your bills. You got to be smart with what you do too, because if you get hurt, God forbid, if I would have got hurt working those 1 or 2 jobs, then at that point it would have been hard to bounce back and start a business. But guys, once I dropped that $1,000 on that GMC Safari, man, I drove that motherfucker into the ground. And like I said, like I just made my hay. Like I told myself, look, I gotta eat what I hunt, and like motherfucker, I'm gonna be the best hunter I can be. And like, you know, now I'm fortunate enough that most of our customers are in PA. I don't have to go to Jersey as much, but guys, our radius was where whoever the fuck needed us. If we can get to you, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna take a look at your system. And like, gosh, those were the cowboy days, man, for real. And like, that was one of the best times of my life, because it's just like the only thing I had, guys, was like I knew what I wanted to do. And I feel like I was in a hyperbolic time chamber. And this is in 2016 when I started the business. From 2016 to 2018, guys, that shit felt like a blur. I was just like hustling. Okay, adding value. Okay, some of the shit didn't work out for me. Okay, no, all right, let me go back to the drawing board. Okay, what I need to do, what I need to learn. Okay, let me put together a price book. Okay, let me have my scripts ready. What do I say when I get to a customer's house? And like, guys, I didn't have mentors until after I started the business. So like, everything you see now is just a result of me just studying and just me just learning shit. And like, guys, it's best to get a mentor once again before you get into business and ask a bunch of questions. But guys, how my situation started, I just started, man, from just literally that desire, that entrepreneurial seizure, like that mentality I had off the jump as far as taking initiative. That shit literally drove me straight into the business, guys. And like, after only 3 years of being in the trade, and once again, guys, like, we're talking like you got to perform at a high level, just fixing things, taking the initiative, you know, not just work. As soon as I got off work, guys, I'm not to say I was eating, sleeping, and breathing HVAC, but guys, there was a lot of work that went into it, man. And like I said, I love what I do. So like, I don't look at, and that's another thing, guys. If I had some type of time constraint or some type of desire with money, this shit probably never would have worked out, because there was a lot of days, guys, especially me starting off out of trade school, a lot of days where money wasn't there. The only thing I had was a work ethic. I had time, and like, I invested all my time into learning, into training, into just, you know, working on communication, dealing with customers. I worked it didn't come to me. I just had to work. And like, most of that shit came after hours. It came off the clock. You know, me asking a bunch of questions. Hey, how do you do this? What do you do? And like I said, guys, like, that is the biggest thing that, you know, I can, as far as my advice I will give to guys that's getting out of trade school, is just, you cannot get discouraged if you can't find a job, because guys, everybody goes through it. If not, they're probably lying to you or trying to sell you a bullshit course. Guys, I'm not that guy. If I don't make any money on YouTube, that's good enough for me, guys. I get to talk shit and yap, and like I said, guys, that's the reward in its own. But guys, as far as, you know, out of trade school, you know, you might have to sacrifice that year of you know, maybe getting a part-time job somewhere else. But if you can keep yourself applied long enough and the opportunity opens up, you have to fucking be a hungry dog. You know, you have to have that mentality. You know, an employer, someone that's offering you a job, you got to understand, it's competition, you know. Somebody that they have to constantly get to do things versus someone that takes the initiative. That initiator is always going to win. So like, guys, you know, have the right mentality, and like I said, ask a bunch of questions. You know, there's no dumb questions. Ask a bunch of questions. But guys, look, the future is bright, and like I said, opportunities are out here. Now, HVAC isn't going away. I'm glad. I was very, very fortunate that, like I said, you know, I kept my options open long enough to pursue HVAC, because like I said, guys, I knew this shit probably never would have worked out in any other profession. And like I said, you know, I laid the hustle down, and like I said, you know, I took the initiative to do the hard work up front. And like I said, you know, I'm still working still to this day, but I love what I do, so I don't count this shit as work. So like, you know, I'll work at this shit 7 days a week. And like I said, you know, this is what I love to do. So it's just, guys, you know, you don't have to be like me, but like I said, guys, I want you to just see from my standpoint, like, look, you know, exactly, was it 2014, 14 years ago? Like I said, I was just that kid out of high school, not knowing what the fuck, you know, HVAC was. But guys, I didn't see people out there like that you know, that I knew, or, you know, people that I can relate to. And I, you know, it wasn't like that. It was just, only thing I had was, like I said, the yellow pages. And like, I just had to hear from, like I said, you know, one of the representatives at the trade school. She just told me, hey, her friend had his own company. But guys, nowadays you can look on YouTube, like how you guys are seeing this now, and you have more information at that time than what other people had, you know, back in the day. So guys, you know, educate yourselves. But like I said, once again, once you get that opportunity, most of this shit is preparation. You know, you have to be prepared for that moment. And once that moment opens up, you have to go for it, man. You have to be aggressive, stay in that mindset of taking the initiative to learn. And like I said, guys, the sky's the limit. You know, I still don't put a cap on what I do. Where I end up at the end of the day is where I end up. But like I said, guys, this is my destiny. You know, I'm not waiting on someone else to tell me how good I can be at this. It's just, guys, you know, once again, you know, mentality is everything. Mentality wins out. So guys, this shit is a yapping stream. I know I've been at this now. This is like a 3 or 4 part video here. But guys, definitely tap in with me. Like I said, I'll make a bunch of videos. Like I said, with service, maintenance, install, the whole 9 yards, guys. Like I said, the only thing I'm doing is I'm getting paid to play with Legos. And like I said, I've seen a lot of bad shit happen, crazy shit happen for me to get to this level. But guys, I wouldn't trade it. I have no regrets. I have literally, you know, everything that happened to me happened for a reason, for me to get to that level, for me to understand things. And look, guys, my story's still being built. So that's why when I tell you guys earlier, shit is a blur, that's exactly what it is, man. Like, and like, it's still a bunch of shit that was left out of that story, but it's just like, guys, a bunch of shit, like I said, it's just, I wasn't looking at time like, hey, here's what I need to do. Like, no, guys, like, the only thing I had was I had time to prepare. You know, no jobs calling me out of trade school, none of that. The only thing I had was time, and I had how I looked at my problems, guys. And I'm like, how I look at my problems, like, look, you know, maybe companies aren't hiring right now, but look, whoever calls me, they're going to get a damn good technician, someone that's going to be an asset to the company, and all I have is to prepare. The only thing I had was my notes at that, and I had some supply house people that I knew from trade school, and they always, you know, whenever they got equipment there, hey, let me take a look at it, a condenser, a heat pump. Guys, that is the shit I had to do to keep myself fresh and keep myself engaged. You know, and like I said, guys, now you have YouTube, you have other people that you can relate to and talk to about this shit, but like, guys, shit, it was crazy back in the day, but like I said, guys, nothing was going to stop me from preparing myself for the opportunity, and nothing was going to stop me from when I seen the opportunity. I knew exactly what the hell I had to do. So, guys, I can yap all day about this shit, but guys, I got to get to a call. But guys, there you go. That's my story. That's my intro. And once again, guys, my story's still being built. I hope you guys are going to stay on the journey with me. But I got to roll. Peace out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.